Hey, everybody. Welcome to Football Night New York Living Room Edition. Jonas Schwartz, happy to be along with Janae Coakley. And Janae, lots of talk about the running backs this week in New York as we get closer and closer to training camp. And that's where we begin. Let's start with what are the odds. And Saquon Barkley is plus 900 to win the NFL rushing title this year. So you bet 100, you can win 900 if he does it. Le'Veon Bell plus 3,300. This according to DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, ESPN did a poll of executives, scouts, and players as to who the best running backs in the game are. Saquon was 1. Le'Veon Bell was 10th, and he loved that so much by putting the laughing emoji, the crying laughing emoji, in response on social media. So right off the bat, Janae, do you think Saquon Barkley is the top running back in football and he deserves to hold that place in that poll?
I do, Jonas. I mean, here's the deal. I think you could do 1A, 1B, and 1C between Christian McCaffrey and Zeke Elliott. Saquon Barkley is a game changer. This guy, I mean, he only played 13 games last year, had that high ankle sprain, and still had over 1,000 yards. This guy is a once-in-a-lifetime type running back. So, yeah, I do think he could be the best running back in the game. But like I said, 1, 2, 3, they could all go interchangeable.
No, I think you're right. And, you mentioned that high ankle sprain. I don't think Saquon Barkley gets enough credit for coming back, and he was not exactly right. He came back early from that high ankle sprain and tried to run through it and did not have the explosiveness for a while, but I give him a ton of credit for gutting it out. And he still obviously is incredibly talented. High ankle sprain, no high ankle sprain. I would put him as the number 1 running back in football exactly for the reason you said. Think of the circumstances he dealt with a year ago. Rookie quarterback, terrible offensive line. Now with Daniel Jones going into year 2 and that offensive line bolstered, Kevin Zeitler, Thomas, another Spencer Pulley, Will Hernandez another year. I really think he will explode and have a great, great season. Let's talk about the Jets running back here. We know Le'Veon disagreed with it. What do you make of him being ranked 10th in this poll?
This is a guy, he's a patient running back. Played behind another weak offensive line that gave up 52 sacks. He couldn't even get over to the line of scrimmage. Sam Darnold had mono. He had all these different quarterbacks. So I think it is a fair assessment of Le'Veon being ranked 10th just because it really wasn't his fault that he had such a bad year. I do think he'll bounce back this year, and I think he could get in within the top 5, top 6, 7. But yeah, I do think it's a fair assessment that he is the 10th running back.
The only thing that worries me, I think he will have a big bounce back year. The only thing that worries me about Le'Veon Bell and why I think it's reasonable to put him 10th for now, off of last year, as you said, is there were those rumblings about him lacking burst towards the end of the last year. And those came from within the Jets building. That was strange, and that was concerning. Now, knowing how proud Le'Veon Bell is, he took that to heart and went to work this offseason and got all that burst back. I also think another year of him and Adam Gase getting on the same page, and I think they've both taken great pains to do that, will lead to a big bounce back year. But Le'Veon Bell's just got to understand, while I think part of his pride and his athletic ego, if you will, is what makes him great, it's understandable to put him 10th. He took a year off, came back, and didn't quite look the same. To your point, most of it not his fault. A patient running style beyond a bad offensive line is a deadly combination because that 1 or 2 seconds he would wait to pick the hole, he was hit. In Pittsburgh, he had the 1 or 2 seconds to look around. He didn't have it here, so I agree with you. You can't argue with where he's placed, but I could see him jumping back towards that top 5 as long as that Jets offensive line is as good as we think it is or as improved as we think it is this upcoming season. Speaking of these offensive lines, we both already talked about how the Jets and the Giants really took great pains to fix what was a huge problem for both teams this past year. When you look at the Jets and the Giants offensive line, who do you think's more improved?
Well, like you said, they were both really bad. So they got a lot better in the offseason. I think they're both going to struggle because of this unprecedented offseason. They haven't been together, and O-lines work with chemistry. You need to be together. You need to play together. I'm going to go the Jets just because this is their second year with Adam Gase. So you still got some guys on that line. You got Brian Winters. You got, Jonathan Harrison. You got, Alex Lewis, who they re-signed. They got a guy in Connor McGovern who's going to be a great center. You got that veteran guy. Again, you got a quarterback like Sam Darnold. He's in the second year of Adam Gase's offense, so I think that's going to help with the line. And I think the Giants, they got the new coach. They got a lot of new pieces, and I think that's going to be hard. But I think getting chemistry with both of these O-lines are going to be tough just because I think everybody's going to have it because it's unprecedented offseason.
I think it's interesting also. You're right. I believe somebody, a very wise man, once told me the big fatties have to play together. So, and he's right. But, I think it's one of these situations where I think a lot of it's going to depend on how the first round picks do and how quickly they develop. Andrew Thomas was supposed to be more of a plug and play guy now, ready to go now. Mekhi Becton's supposedly the higher ceiling with that great size and athletic ability. That I think will play into this because they're both playing, tackle spots that are key and crucial to how their lines do. I also think for the Jets, Connor McGovern at center is going to, because we saw what life was like with Ryan Khalil, and I don't think anybody liked what they saw out of that situation. So, listen, a center is the anchor of the line, and I think McGovern will play a big part in it. And, of course, Janae, as you know, he was just one of many additions to that Jets offensive line, and you've had a chance to catch up with another one of those additions.
Exactly. Joe Douglas told Sam Darnold's parents, I am going to protect your son. That's exactly what he did. George Fant, I got to get to know him. So how about we do it now? All right, 6 random questions, first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
Number 1, your favorite quarantine activity?
Playing 2K.
Do you play by yourself? Who do you play
So
with?
I play online. I play in the park. I'm in there all the time. So anybody want to link up, man, just hit my Twitter.
All right, number 2, best nickname?
That's nickname. So some of my teammates in college basketball used to call me Young Tuda.
Young what?
Tuda. I don't know. It's just something they made up. So it's just I've always ran with it.
All right, we're going to stick with the basketball theme because you used to play basketball, obviously. Who's the best basketball player, Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
LeBron James, and he's still going.
You think LeBron could play in that era that Michael Jordan played in? Still be that great?
Easily. They wouldn't be able to handle it.
All right, whatever. I'm going to move on to my next question. All right, if you could win one of these, Oscar, Tony, Emmy, or a Grammy, which one are you winning?
I had to say Grammy. I'm just kind of infatuated with the way music is made. Probably more on the production side. I think, just that system of making music is so cool.
All right, number 5, something you have tried that you will never try again.
Tomatoes. I hate tomatoes.
Okay. All right, and my last question to you. What is the one thing that drives your wife crazy that you do?
For some reason, every time I get done working out, and I like to shoot my stuff to the laundry basket. And sometimes I miss, and it hits the ground. It's like sweat all over the floor. And if I don't get it up, she hates that.
It was awesome getting to know you, George. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, Jonas, I know you don't do anything that annoys your wife, like kick her off her computer while she's working so you could tape this with me.
Janae saw the reaction to that one day. Never, especially in a pandemic when we're all stuck in the house for 4 months together. And apparently I sing terribly over and over again, way too much. I don't hear a thing about it. One thing you will be hearing about in the upcoming weeks here, and we'll get into it when our NFL insider Ralph Acciano rejoins us next week, Janae, is Leonard Williams. Him and the Giants could not come to terms on a long-term agreement, so he's going to play under the tag for $16+ million for the year. We'll see how that plays out. And then also something we've been talking a lot about that we're going to keep an eye on as well. Jamal Adams obviously is keeping an eye on everybody else's contract. Myles Garrett, who went first in the year that same draft as Jamal Adams, is getting a big money contract extension, $25 million a year on average. Jamal is keeping an eye on that. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go forward. Janae, thanks so much. Another great edition of Football Night New York Living Room Edition. Thanks for watching.